Hey, what's good, YouTube? This is Havoc, the truth. Anyway, I was just watching Geekdom101's recent video, Spirit Bomb versus Dragon Fist, Goku's Trump card video, and not to be that guy who's always offended about something, but I just wanted to address something that really caught my eye and kind of got on my nerves. It's something he mentioned before too. It really boggles my mind when he says this. But when it comes to Dragon Ball, he says that there is no canon. Yes, folks, he says there is no canon. Don't worry about it. It's what we like. Is what we accept. Is whatever. I don't agree with that whatsoever. And if you look at the comments and stuff like that, you could tell that a lot of people don't like the idea of this is not canon, this is canon and everything. So I'm having a hard time understanding why people have such a big problem with canon and not canon. No, matter of fact, no, I don't. I understand, and he explained it just fine. Some people want to use that to discredit arguments such as like, oh, GT versus Super. Oh, it's not canon, Super GT is not canon, so by default Super wins. Or with this situation with Spirit Bomb versus Dragon Fist, he said Dragon Fist has only been showing up in movies and stuff like that, so it's not canon, and so Spirit Bomb wins and stuff like that. It's stupid. Yeah, I agree. It's dumb. I get it. But to go by there is no canon is very lackluster. It's a terrible answer, and it gives the wrong idea. Anybody who mentions canon is somehow like looked at poorly. That I don't think that's a good way of going about it, Danny. And here's how I feel about that. And this is what I want to educate people on what canon. At least to me, if I'm wrong, tell me down in the comments. But at least to me, tell me this is what I think is canon. All right, canon is in this sense what is not only just official, but what is created by Toriyama, either created or strongly advisedly made, like Super is now, and looked at by the series creator. And he considers it part of his story, story outline. All right. GT, he called a grand side story. A side story is not part of the main story, so he never acknowledges GT, even when he started working on Dragon Ball Online with the artwork and everything. And as well as the timeline and stuff like that game, he always ignored GT. He don't get me wrong, he was humble about it, he gave a few words for it and everything else, but he greatly ignored it. I guess that's what he did with a lot of stuff. It's like look at the DBZ anime movies. A lot of those movies, he said he would count them as happening in a different dimension, separate from his own story. That's how it always is. The few things that he did create for the story, seriously, not like Nekomajin or Nekomajin Z, stuff that's seriously added on to his lore, can be boiled down to this. Way back when, the Dragon Ball manga, from the start of him meeting Bulma, all the way to him meeting Oob and leaving. That's the first part. That's where everything started from. That's the main manga, the Dragon Ball manga. All right. Years later, way later, actually fairly recently, before Super, he created the Galactic Patrolman Jocko manga, which is set around when Goku was first landing on Earth. It involves Bulma's sister and a few other characters. Cool, but That's something that Toriyama created. And that's where we also get the very hated Dragon Ball Minus extra chapter. As much as you don't like that chapter, that's what he created, and that's what he wants in his story. Now, it was a lot easier when he just took the scene from the Bardock special, and he wanted to think that the Bardock special actually happened, like it was canon. Well, he threw it away. He wrote it off and changed it around. So the scene that's in the manga did happen, but the things that led up to it is completely different. It's just how it is. Sorry. Now, what else I can seriously say? The big elephant in the room, Dragon Ball Super. Now, I think Danny wanted to give up on this. He didn't make a solution to this in Super because it's like, well, there's so many different events going on between anime and manga. And I get that. Between the anime and the manga, it's like so many discrepancies. Like it's too different. And I give you that. However, to write everything off as, there is no canon because there's two different events, I have to disagree. What I do, I like to look at it this way. Neither anime or manga is the definitive canon. Why? Because we don't know, by Toriyama standards, which one really happened. So I look at it this way. The general events of each arc is what really happened. I'm not going to go through specifics. Only stuff such as Goku versus Beerus on Kenkai's planet, Goku versus Beerus on Earth, in the Earth atmosphere, with him as the Super Saiyan God. Alright? Then go to Frieza's resurrection. He trains, comes back, fights Goku and Vegeta. After, all those other Z fighters fought Frieza soldiers. They become Super Saiyan Blue. He destroys the Earth. We reverse time. And Goku finishes them off. Same stuff. You know what I mean? It's general stuff. This stuff is consistent. Those two is consistent on all three properties. The movies, the manga, and the anime. This is stuff that Toriyama came up with. Same thing with the arcs and the rest of the arcs. Universe 6 versus Universe 7 tournament between the gods of destruction, Champa and Beerus. That happened. Specifics on how it happened, who cares? It's just that situation happened. Same thing with the Future Trunks and the Goku Black arc. Same thing with the Tournament of Power. How it happened, who cares? Just know that that situation happened and Universe 7 wins. That's pretty much it. Now, and when we take that outline, we could just say super, quotation marks, like you can't see me doing them, but quotation marks happen. It's Dragon Ball Super Broly, which runs across all three of the properties. It's a movie. It runs across both the manga and the anime. So, yeah, Dragon Ball Super Broly is canon, and it validates Dragon Ball Minus. There you go. Now, the moral arc is the only thing we got right now. So, take it whatever you will. So, there is a definitive Dragon Ball canon. Something that exists. Everything ends caps off at the end of Z. The time where Goku leaves off with that's the latest time. The latest time that's been, documented in the actual canon. The only thing that came after that is non-canon stuff like GT, Heroes. I guess, Xenoverse and all that, the games, Dragon Ball Online. Everything that came after that, as far as we know, is completely not canon. He hasn't deluged himself past that point. So that is the canon. The end. I mean, there's nothing else I can really tell you. To say that there is no canon, though, that is blatantly false. I can understand you having a hard time arguing with these people, saying that, because something's not canon, shouldn't mean that you can't debate with them. And you're absolutely right. I have a problem with that too. You can't just discredit people's arguments because of canon and not canon, unless it is logical. Okay? Like Seth and Chuck brought up before. You can't bring up Broly from the Z movie and bring up Super Saiyan 3 from the Fusion Reborn movie and say, like, obviously because he's Super Saiyan 3, it's later in the timeline, so he obviously wins. When Broly has massively higher feats. I mean, this dude destroyed a galaxy. Canon Goku in Super Saiyan 3 actually only caps out as multi-solar system level if you're a power scaler like I am. So that's it, guys. I mean, the point is that, yeah, don't worry about canon too much, except when it actually matters. People is those who using the canon argument, you're making people tired of us. I'm just saying. But when it's relevant and it actually relevant into the argument and it is needed and is actually a valid point, don't discredit it by saying there is no canon, because there absolutely is. I mean, that's like taking everything away from Toriyama and saying everything Toei made is canon too. No. I feel like I always felt like Toriyama always allowed Toei to build their own world with his property, but he himself always kept his own story to himself. You know what I mean? Anything he creates, he feels like anything he creates, he can overwrite them. And I feel that way too. So guys, if you like this video, thumbs it up, subscribe. I'm gonna do more videos sometime soon, and if you think there is no canon, you're factually wrong. It's your opinion, but you're factually wrong. All right. Take care.